It's the first game within the new Central Division for the Minnesota Wild, and it's their first road game of the year as they pay a visit to the Music City and the Nashville Predators, our Northland Forge starting goaltenders.
Pekka Rinne, two-time Vezina finalist. He is a very big goaltender, 6'5", about 210 pounds, takes up a lot of net. When he's on, it's tough to beat him. Nicklas Backstrom, third start in a row here in this young season. Mike Yeo said he really thought long and hard about whether he should put Harding in here. Backstrom has good numbers here. You'll likely see Harding later this week. Backstrom has looked more and more comfortable in the first two games as they've gone on. Hopefully looks very comfortable here in this building.
Home opener for the Predators, who have dropped their first two, losing at St. Louis and Colorado. Play comes into the Minnesota zone. Wild, a pair of extra session defeats at home against the Kings and Ducks. Mike Yeo said earlier today he expected a collision like two Rams here tonight, as these teams he expected would both be desperate. Offside whistle and a faceoff coming in the neutral zone.
Well, some early changes already. I know we showed you line charts in the open, and they've already been shifted around. Mitchell now on that line with Cook and Brodziak. I like the look of that line. That's a line that was together in training camp and was very good in training camp, but Mike Yeo has to mix things around a little bit as well as the Wild bring out their top line, a line that had a very good game against the Anaheim Ducks.
Predators counter with their top trio of Fisher in the middle, Hornquist and Wilson on the wings. Play comes into the Minnesota zone. Fisher after it for Nashville. He and Koivu battle along the end wall, and Koivu emerges with the puck. Hit by Hornquist as he feeds Pominville. Pominville tied up, and Ryan Suter, the former Predator, you hear the boos each time he touches the puck here in Nashville. Koivu into the Nashville zone. Spins away from a check, drops to the point. Spurgeon a drive that goes wide. And the rebound corralled by Seth Jones, the first-round draft pick of the Predators this past June. He was the fourth overall selection. Marco Scandella lugs it to center for Minnesota and fires it in. Spurgeon down the wall, holds his own, centers for Heatley, who redirected just high and wide. Zucker, first shift back with the Wild this year. He was the last man cut out of training camp and sent down to Iowa. He's here replacing the injured Charlie Coyle. Mikael Granlund battling, trying to get it to Zucker behind the net. It's intercepted by Matt Cullen. Cullen, of course, last 3 seasons in Minnesota, signed with Nashville during the offseason.
Oh, good hit there by Scandella. Scandella and Spurgeon kind of paired up for a rough outing last game, and this is going to be a very big bounce-back game for them. And good to see Scandella physical early. A lot of players will tell you if you can get a hit early in the game, it usually gets you into it. And that one was a good one with a lot of speed down the left side.
Icing whistle here and a face-off back in Minnesota zone.
Forget the puck, take the body. You got a D partner and you got a back-checking centerman in Granlund. That was just a very good play there by Scandella. Keep it simple. That's the kind of simple hockey they want to see from Scandella. And a lot of people said, well, you know, he had a rough outing. Do you take him out of the lineup? Mike Yeo said, hey, there's a lot of young players, including Scandella. I know you don't think of him as being that young because he's been around for a couple of years, but the fact is he is a young player, and he needs the support of this coaching staff as well.
Kyle Brodziak pokes the puck into the Nashville zone. Battles against the end wall. Forsberg comes away with it for the Predators. Forsberg playing in his first game of the season for Nashville tonight. Stoner back in the lineup for the Wild after being scratched against the Ducks. Cross-ice pass too far for Brodziak. Hustling after it. The first man there is Kevin Klein. You hear the boos. That's because Suter just jumped back on the ice for Minnesota. He heard it nonstop when the Wild paid a visit on Bridgestone Arena last year. Said he expected more of the same. In fact, his teammates helped prepare him for it today by booing during the morning skate. We get an early scuffle. Zenon Konopka in his third fight in as many games. This one against Rich Kloon.
Kloon started throwing some lefts, and Konopka didn't tie up that arm, but now he's got both arms tied up, and so these guys are kind of fighting to a bit of a draw right now. Kloon, a pretty big fella, tough guy in his own right, and Konopka now is, as I mentioned last game, he's on pace for 82 because he's had a fight in each game, and now he's at a fight in this third game of the season.
This one's been going on a while. You can see the players are a little arm weary.
Well, any fighter will tell you that a fight will drain you. Clune is an energy forward and has what people will call agitating qualities, and I'm sure that he agitated Konopka enough. Right across the blue line on the left side, that's where they dropped the gloves, and away they went. So they'll both get the gate.
Second game in a row that it hasn't taken long for Konopka. It was just over 3 minutes in against Anaheim back in St. Paul on Saturday. Here it's just a second short of the 3-minute mark.
And I'm not sure what precipitated that in Minnesota. He got into a fight to try and change the momentum because the Wild had gone down by a couple of quick goals. I didn't really see any reason for this one, but maybe these guys decided to get it out of the way.
Koivu chasing after a puck. He took a high stick, and we're going to get a Minnesota power play here early in the first period. Our Sanford Health injury report focuses on Charlie Coyle.
Well, all the fanfare about Charlie Coyle and what he was going to bring in the middle of the ice, and he only made it a game and a half, unfortunately, before getting a hit against the wall. Didn't look that serious, but it is a knee sprain, 3 to 4 weeks, and that's why Jason Zucker is back up with the big club. Hopefully, Charlie Coyle is as quick of a healer as he is a good player, because in that case he'll be back sooner than later. And Seth Jones, as you mentioned, the first pick in the draft in 2013 by the Nashville Predators, 4th overall. A lot of people thought he would actually go to Colorado as the first overall pick because of the fact that we all think that Colorado probably needs help on the blue line, but they would have nothing of it. They picked McKinnon first overall. I'm sure the Wild will see plenty of him, as they are another divisional opponent.
Danny Heatley to Ryan Suter. Koivu working the half wall for Minnesota. Wild on the power play after the high sticking call. Suter. Pominville winds, fires. A pad save by Rene. Predators able to clear. Nashville on the kill this year is 7 out of 9. They allowed a pair of power play goals in their season opener against St. Louis.
I like the look with Pominville on the left side there as a right-handed shot he can unleash when he scored their last game, albeit a little bit closer to the top of the circle.
Suter sends it across. Koivu centers. Parise scores! And Minnesota's on the board.
Well, Mikko Koivu and his two line mates, even though this is a power play and Danny Heatley is up front on the power play, just the nonverbal communication here. Parise's going to the net. Koivu knows that he is, and it's just a fake slap shot by Koivu. Watch this brilliant play, though, by Suter. He gives it a bit of a look away, and Koivu looks like he's going to wind up and shoot, and Rene has to step up and make what he thinks is going to be a one-time save. Watch him set up at the top of the crease, only to realize it's a backdoor feed to Parise at the top of the crease. And just a wonderful setup by those players, and the power play keeps rolling for the Minnesota Wild.
Third goal in the last 2 games for Zach Parise. Now we get another whistle, and this one's going to be an interference call that will put Minnesota a man down. Kyle Brodziak, the guilty party, and the Wild a man short.
Well, good start here for the Wild, but a penalty to Brodziak. And we'll see the power play for the Preds. Quick look at this one. The interference right there, you step out of your own lane to step into an opposing player that's forechecking, and that's the textbook interference call. And so Brodziak goes and has a chat with Konopka.
Minnesota 4 of 6 killing penalties so far this season. The Predators 0 for on the power play, 0 for 7. And there's going to be a 2-man advantage for Nashville as Mikko Koivu is going to go for the Wild. And Minnesota is in a dangerous position here. Up a goal early, but 2 men short.
Koivu not very happy naturally, but a very aggressive forecheck there. Matt Cook, of course, will always forecheck as far up ice as you can get away with. And he actually made a behind-the-back pass, but Koivu, I think realizing that he wasn't going to be able to get back into the play quick enough, took out the legs of a defender, and even though Mikko probably thought he went down fairly easy, he still dropped the stick across the ankles of the defender and took away his opportunity to skate the puck up the ice.
Weber and Jones man the points on the power play for Nashville. Two-man advantage for 90 seconds. Puck comes to the near point. Weber has it there. Across to Jones. Back to Weber. David Legwand in the corner. Jones goes down low on the far side. Jones fires. It's tipped on the way. Rebound. They score. Philip Forsberg, first in the NHL, and it's 1-1.
Well, this is actually his first game of the year. He was out the previous two for the Nashville Predators with an injury. He's only got 5 games to his name, and all of those came last season at the end of the year. And he unleashes this one, a bouncing puck. Actually quite talented to get that thing to even settle down as he blasts it in the net. But they're expecting a lot of offense from this young guy. He's excelled at every level he's played at. And no relation to Peter Forsberg. I know a lot of people ask that question, but he's going to put a lot of pucks in the net for Nashville. At least that's what they're hoping.
And still nearly a minute and a half of power play time for the Predators. First NHL goal for Forsberg, and it's 1-1. Wilson backpedals. Watched closely by Granlund. Takes the return pass. Wilson works down low, centered, and is tipped by Brodin. Nice play by Jonas Brodin to break up the centering pass. Fisher feeds the point. Matt Cullen there, gives to Wilson into the circle, score!
Well, just beaten by 2 shots. Backstrom's typically not the kind of goaltender that gets beat once he has the angle. When he has the angle on you, Backstrom's got pretty good wall-like qualities, but here was just an amazing shot. Boy, this was really placed well in the top corner. Backstrom definitely seemed to have his angle on that one, and he was basically just one-on-one with the shooter. Power plays are figuring heavily already in this hockey game.
Teams met 3 times last year. There were a grand total of 10 goals scored in those 3 games. We've seen 3 in the first 6 minutes here tonight. Scandella, long shot, deflects off the end wall and out front. All power play goals. Parise for Minnesota. Forsberg 5-on-3 for Nashville. And Wilson with the 5-on-4 marker, putting the Predators in front for the first time. Stoner sends it all the way across. The Wild attack, long one on goal, and Rene kicks it aside. Heatley breaks up the play along the boards, but now the Predators come to center. Nice hustle by Jason Zucker to disrupt the play. Back to Stoner in his own zone. Stoner and Keith Ballard again paired. Ballard springs Zucker. Granlund was then tied up from behind by Cullen as he tried to enter the zone. Cullen kicks it ahead. He had lost his stick. Interesting matchup with Cullen and Zucker. They were both so complimentary of each other last year when playing together on Minnesota's second line. Rene holds, pushing and shoving near the Nashville goal. Predators lead 2-1.
Predators 2 in the Wild, 1 here early on in the Music City. Ryan Suter makes his return to the only other team he's played for, and you've heard the boos already. They were really hard on Suter last year, and I talked to Ryan this morning after skate, and he knows exactly what to expect tonight. He was very surprised, though, that his former coach, Barry Trotz, seemed to stoke the fire in the media this week, encouraging the fans here to get all over Suter. Even asked his former coach, didn't you like me? He goes, yeah, I like you, but I need every advantage I can get when I'm going against a player of your caliber. And Suter loves to be out there about half the game, guys, and his coach, Mike Yeo, knows none of this stuff really affects him because, as Mike Yeo said at skate this morning, he's got ice water going through the veins. He's a flatliner. He'll put his A game out there night in, night out, no matter if there's boos or cheers from the crowd. You've seen that early on from Suter. He made the initial pass in that power play goal from the Wild to start that tic-tac-toe goal by Parise.
You saw the numbers last year, led the league with just over 27 minutes of ice time per game. He's number 1 in the league early this year at 30 and a half minutes per night.
Well, you're going to see a lot of ice time, and the only way you pull ice time away from Suter is if that third and fourth guy, Scandella and Spurgeon, are able to step their game up to the point where you can pull minutes away from them. But if not, I think it's going to be a very, very busy season for Suter and his D partner, Brodin.
Parise across to Koivu. Onside at the Nashville line. Works to the outside around Jones. Koivu still with it. Tried to center. Parise was there. But it was just off the mark, and Nashville's back the other way. Shea Weber, Suter's former defensive partner, has his shot kicked out by Backstrom. And the Wild have it. Scandella carries out to neutral ice. Ahead to Granlund at center, who dumps it in. Just over 8 minutes in, a fast start here in Nashville. A power play goal early for Zach Parise. But a pair of power play goals for Nashville have the Predators on top 2-1. Our Toyota key stat, one thing to watch tonight, is the faceoff circle. Minnesota number 1 in the league.
Yeah, and that's something that they've talked about for years. And if you're going to be a puck possession team as it goes, it's easier to start with the puck than it is to go find it and chase it all over the ice. So some good contributors early here, but another team that's been pretty decent so far has been Nashville.
Predators number 7 in the league at 54%. Several of the top individuals on the ice here tonight. Stoner for Minnesota. As was clearing attempt, broken up by Legwand. Fontaine around behind the net. Ryan Kanapka has it for Minnesota. Across to Stoner. Stoner winds and fires. Easily knocked down by Rene, who then covers. And a faceoff coming in the Nashville zone. From America's #1 pregame show comes the all-new Fox Football Daily, featuring an all-star lineup of experts and NFL legends. Get everything you love on Sunday every day of the week. Fox Football Daily, weeknights at 5 Central on America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. Granlund on this draw for Minnesota against Paul Gaustad, who's been one of the league's best in the faceoff circle to this point. And Gaustad wins the draw. Predators are able to clear. Danny Heatley at center ice looking for Granlund, but the pass hit a skate. Predators are able to dump it in. Backstrom will leave it behind the net. Then decides to play it himself and nearly gave it away as Matt Hendricks got a stick on it. Going to face off in the Wild zone.
Well, Backstrom, the victim of a couple of power play goals. I've always said, though, and goaltenders like Pecorine as well, and guys like Backstrom and even Hiller, who we just saw against Anaheim, those kind of goaltenders are very positional goaltenders. They need to get that part of their game down in order for them to be successful. And it's not the easiest thing to do for those types of goaltenders early on. When you got other types of goaltenders like Josh Harding, who's more acrobatic and athletic. Same thing with a guy like Jonathan Quick. I think those guys get to their games earlier in the season because they can make up for different parts of the game that's maybe failing a little bit by being athletic and acrobatic and whatnot. But a goaltender that plays very positional, if he's not taking his ice and very square and everything that he needs to be, it's very telling. So we'll see how Backstrom finishes off this period and see if he can find that part of his game. Although can't blame him 100% on those. One was a rebound off to the side. And of course, that last one was a heck of a shot.
2 goals on 5 shots to this point for Nashville. Both of them coming on the power play. 1-5 on 3. Brodziak just onside at the Nashville line. Fires it in for Minnesota. Now Brodziak, Cook, and Niederreiter. The trio for Minnesota. Scandella scoops it up and backpedals into his own zone. Jared Spurgeon starts out for the Wild. Watched by Wilson. Then turns it over. Put it right on the stick of Matthias Ekholm. Amazing how persistent these fans are in booing Ryan Suter each time he jumps on the ice. Hornquist dumps it in for the Predators. He wins the race to the puck, sidestepping Brodin to get there. Wilson emerges. Hornquist centers. It's tipped by Wilson. Backstrom was moving the other direction and it trickled just wide. Fisher to the point. Jones bobbles, then plays it back to the corner. Wilson tied up by Brodin. Koivu banks it off the wall for Pominville. Minnesota's 3-on-3 at center. Parise flips it in softly as the Wild make a change. Suter harasses on the forecheck. The Predators come back to center, but a pass hits a skate, and Clayton Stoner scoops it up for the Wild. Justin Fontaine fires just wide. Stoner now tees it up, and his shot may have been tipped by Fontaine. Seemed to fool Rene, but he's able to hang on for a moment, then drop behind the net. Good work by Fontaine. Centers. Stoner works his way down the wall. Feeds Fontaine behind the net. Justin Fontaine in his 3rd NHL game tonight to Ballard, who bobbled the puck. And it's a chance the other way. Nystrom is in. Penalty coming against Minnesota. It'll be a penalty shot as Ballard was tied up trying to stop Nystrom on the break. Backstrom's down after the collision in the Minnesota goal.
Yeah, he got his leg jammed up against the post there as Nystrom, his full body weight going into Backstrom and into the net. Backstrom did make the save. But this will be interesting if Harding has to come in, because it will be a cold goaltender in a shootout situation with a penalty shot. Yeah, he was all over him. Chopped him at the last second. You see the leg get jammed up against the inside of the post there. Ballard just kind of miscues this one, and then he has to haul him down in order to take it away. A 4-year deal signed by Eric Nystrom coming into this year for $10 million. So he'll be here for a while. He's obviously an energy forward, as Minnesota fans are familiar with him, having played for Minnesota. And Josh Harding is looking on and maybe throwing the mask on right now. Should be stretching maybe a little bit as well, as we don't know whether Backstrom will stay in the game. Don Fuller, the athletic trainer out there right now with Nicholas Backstrom. But even then, if Nicholas Backstrom does get up, he'll still be smarting a little bit and still have to face this penalty shot.
Nystrom, not known as a prolific goal scorer, but showed some good speed in creating that opportunity.
Well, his strength, of course, is what created that for him. He's a strong forechecker. He's an agitator. He's a guy who gets in there with energy. And as soon as Ballard bobbled that puck, Nystrom just pushed forward and got by him, and he still can put the puck in the net when given the opportunity. It was a good poke check by Backstrom. And we still don't know whether he'll stay in the game or not, having a lengthy conversation there. Harding is in the tunnel, fully dressed, ready to go, I think, if he has to. There's Harding looking on.
And it looks like Backstrom's heading for the bench.
So Backstrom comes out of this game after getting mowed into the post by Nystrom on his attempt on the breakaway. And so a cold Josh Harding, thank goodness he's not the second or third period. At least he was in warm-ups about 20 minutes ago. But he still will come in technically cold to try and stop a penalty shot. Harding is He's been a pretty good goaltender in the shootouts, so this is not too big of a stretch for him. But like I say, if you come into the game not having seen any pucks for a little bit, it's still tough to do.
So you saw that Eric Nystrom has never attempted a penalty shot. He will face a goaltender that hasn't seen a shot tonight.
Yeah, gone to the days where you can drop a few pucks in front of your goaltender and take a few shots at him and warm him up. Now it's just going to be a couple of stretches. Here's Josh Harding. His numbers.
And here we go. Nystrom against Harding. Scores. And it's 3-1 Nashville.
Really tough spot for Harding to come in like that. It's not so much being warm or in that sense, but it's just having seen pucks come at you and being in the warm-up is all he got. And then the first thing is a blast. Wow, that was a very good shot. He beats Harding to the blocker side. He pulls him over a little bit and just finds a hole underneath the blocker. And so the Wild have found themselves again in a 2-goal deficit. Against the Anaheim Ducks, they came back against a 2-goal deficit 2 times in that game, albeit losing in overtime. And they'll have to do it again here to come back in this one.
Offside at the line. The game still has not settled into any kind of a flow. And Minnesota finds themselves down 2 with a new goaltender. 3-1 in favor of Nashville. Remember, if tonight's game goes to a shootout and the Wild win, everyone who brings a box score from the game to participating Arby's stores will receive a free order of curly fries. Offer is good for tomorrow if the Wild win in an Arby's shootout tonight. It's been a strange and choppy start here in Nashville tonight. 3 power play goals and a penalty shot goal have been scored so far. Wild have lost their goaltender, and the Predators have a 2-goal lead. All that's happened in the first 12 minutes.
Well, nobody's scored a even strength goal in this game yet. 3 power play goals and then a penalty shot.
Koivu dumps it in. Jones back to pick it up. He and Weber paired together for the first time here tonight. Weber whips it across. Remember, the man who took Ryan Suter's spot as Weber's partner last year was Roman Josi. The young defenseman is out of the lineup tonight. Predators are a bit banged up. Victor Stahlberg, one of their big acquisitions in the offseason, out of the lineup. Has not yet played this year. Rick Spaulding also out tonight for Nashville. Matt Cook has it for Minnesota. Deflects into the Predator zone, and high stick was waved off. Spurgeon with a long shot through traffic, and Rene gloves and holds.
Well, Spurgeon's directed a couple at the net. That's what he needs to do. Get some pucks towards Rene and get some bodies in front of him. Seen Spurgeon score on the power play like that. This basically just a wrist shot. Get it into the area where guys like Cook and Brodziak can use some strength in front of the net. Niederreiter as well. So these lines have changed back to what we expected them to be. Mitchell going back with Konopka and Fontaine. Niederreiter finding a spot on this line.
Predators control the draw. Hendricks dumps it back into the Minnesota zone. Scandella after it. Spurgeon to Brodziak. Races into the Nashville zone. Cook by the center. Niederreiter gains the loose puck. Stoner has his shot tipped wide by Brodziak. Brodziak hustles to the far point to hold the zone. His shot's then blocked, and it deflects up and out of play.
Well, the Wild Wild need another spark. They certainly got one with that power play goal to get things going, but things have kind of tidal waved the other way on them.
Cook barking here with Matt Hendricks as the players head to their respective benches. Faceoff will come in the Nashville zone.
And we talk about Matt Cook and all the great behavior that he was going to bring. I say don't bring too much good behavior. That's the kind of edge that can help turn the pace of hockey games. And so hopefully he can start needling the right guys on the Predators and maybe turn some things around, draw a power play or something of that nature. We've seen him already this year go into corners with guys, and guys are throwing the elbow up or something or the stick on him. So he's drawing penalties already this season.
Forsberg's shot goes over the top of the net. Parise there for Minnesota. To Koivu at center. Minnesota 3-on-2 at the Nashville line, but Commonville broken toward the net. Koivu regains the puck, centers, and Parise's tip is stopped by Rinne.
What an amazing save, boy. That was a goal most of the time, except what a 6'5" goaltender stretches out.
We'll take another look next. 3-1 Nashville. 3-1 Nashville. Zach Parise nearly had his second of the night.
Well, just a great play. Koivu, you're starting to see the chemistry here. He doesn't even look. It's a spin-around shot, but what a save by Rinne. And Rinne, when he is on and when he is flashing the pads, he's got a big wingspan with those pads, and boy, he read that very well. Unfortunately for the Wild, that pass came all the way from the corner, which gave Rinne a little bit of time to react. But I tell you what, he didn't have a lot of time. He made that one with the end of his pad and was able to cover it up.
Rinne has been so tough on the Wild throughout his career. 8-3-2. Goals against just a shade over 2. League's winning his goaltender a couple of years ago. He won 43 in the 2011-2012 campaign. Granlund to Heatley in the corner. They trade spots. Heatley centers and Rinne covers up with Zucker in the neighborhood.
Good to see this line out there getting the puck towards the net. Heatley getting in the corner. A lot of speed on that line, and then of course a lot of experience with Heatley and the way he can shoot it. You see interesting combinations already this season, and that one should be a fun one to watch.
Konopka on the draw for the Wild, controlled by Nashville. Ekholm able to clear the zone. Fontaine sends it back in. Klein turns it over at center. Fontaine got a stick on it. Klein cross to Ekholm into the Minnesota zone. Harding stops it behind the net. Wild with a 9-6 edge in shots on goal, but the Predators lead 3-1. Ballard starts out. Fontaine carries in. His long shot gloved and held by Rinne. Former Wild player Matt Cullen playing against his former teammates here tonight. He picked up an assist earlier. Cullen's had quite a career, 562 points. That's the 6th most by a Minnesota-born player. Impressive names above him on that list. Housley, Brott, Christian, Langenbrunner.
And Housley, an assistant coach here in Nashville, so another familiar face. But Matt Cullen has the Stanley Cup. He's a trusted two-way forward. Good on the defensive side of the puck, has good creativity offensively, and that's why the Predators signed him. They want him to add that experience and leadership and creativity in their lineup.
101 points in 193 games the last 3 seasons in Minnesota. Asked Zach Parise about it today and said, yeah, it's going to be very strange. He said, I played against him a bunch when we were both in the East, but we became a lot closer last year playing together in Minnesota. Koivu was looking for Parise in the circle. It deflects out to center, and Suter has to go back after it for Minnesota. Commonville tips it in as the Wild change. We go inside 4 minutes left in the first period in Nashville. Niederreiter. To Brodziak in the corner. He's tied up by Weber. Niederreiter trying to dig it free. Jones bumps him from behind. Niederreiter still with it. Centers for Cook. Cook fires. And a pad save by Rene. Scandella's shot was blocked on the way. Predators able to tip to center. Spurgeon turns it back in. Kyle Brodziak. Weber. Nystrom tips it ahead, and the Predators again are able to clear. Forsberg lost the puck at center ice. Cook trying to fight through Nystrom's check. Ryan Ellis is there to pick it up for the Preds. Predators have only 6 shots in the game, one of which was a penalty shot. Hornquist tips it into the Minnesota zone. Stoner back to pick it up. Leaves it for Ballard. On the Wild in transition have Jason Zucker. Zucker flips it around Ellis. Hustles after it in the corner. Heatley centers. Granlund there. Granlund was tied up and couldn't get a shot away. Hornquist able to clear. Wilson watched by Ballard. Hornquist trying to get it to Fisher. Stoner intercepts for Minnesota. And bounces it by Ekholm. Zucker races after it. Ekholm got there first.
Zucker near the end of his shift. Normally, he'd have been 2 strides beyond that defender, and he still almost got by him, but at the end of the shift, he didn't have much left in the tank.
Pad save by Harding, and he covers up on the long wrist shot by Gaustad. You mentioned Phil Housley, an assistant coach here in Nashville, a member of the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Coached at Stillwater High School the last 9 years.
Memory serves, he had a couple points in the National Hockey League, just a couple though.
Had a few. 1,232. He's at the top of that list of Minnesota natives. He's the second highest American-born player. But 21 years in the NHL. Last year, coached the World Junior team to a gold medal. A team that, in fact, included Seth Jones, who's now one of the defensemen here in Nashville. His former high school team, the Ponies, will be one of our competitors on Hockey Day Minnesota in January.
Yeah, he brings so much, obviously, that experience that you talk about in so many different elements of the game, not just as a defenseman, but just in the nuances of the game itself. So it's a pretty savvy pickup there by the Nashville Predators with the longest tenured coach in the National Hockey League, Barry Trotz.
Face-off coming in the Nashville zone, just under 2 minutes left. Trotz was asking for an explanation for something on the Nashville bench. Suter has his shot tipped by Parise. Parise battling for the loose puck. Koivu in to grab it to the point. Brodin, his shot blocked, but Brodin holds his own. Pominville down low to Parise, pinned up against the boards by Gaustad. And Jones able to get it out of the zone. Brodin back to pick it up for Minnesota. Ryan Suter to Mikko Koivu. Koivu across. Pominville winds and fires wide. Rebound controlled by Suter. Pominville with it in the corner. A lot of zone time for Minnesota's top line on this shift. Line finally emerges with the puck for Nashville. Comes to center ice. Into the Minnesota zone. Nashville trying to make a change. Wild quickly back the other way with Cook, but he was tied up by Klein. Bourque into the circle. A shot right on, and Harding with the save for Minnesota. Our Century link to what's next. Coming up in our first intermission, our NHL insider, Michael Russo from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, will be with us. Chat about what's happening elsewhere in the NHL.
Already a lot of fireworks in the National Hockey League early in the season.
Long shot by Jones is tipped on the way, and Harding just does close the door.
That's a great example of a goaltender having to squeeze that 5-hole a lot tighter because of the reduction in the goaltender's pads. you probably lose an inch to 2 inches off of each pad. So when you're closing up that gap, there's not as much of a wall. As you watch him close that gap there, the puck kind of just snuck in there, and he was able to squeeze it and hang on to it.
Minnesota had a mini 3-on-2 at the line. Konopka just chooses to dump it in. Knocked out of the air with a high stick. That'll be waved off as Bourque is the first to play it. Tipped into the Minnesota zone. Final half minute of the first period. Cook out to neutral ice. Weber's there for Nashville. Smith carries in for the Predators. Has his pocket picked from behind. Scandella. 10 seconds left. Across to Spurgeon. Spurgeon turned it over at center. Legwand back in for Nashville. Long shot goes wide of the net. And the horn sounds, ending a first period. It sees Minnesota outshoot Nashville, but trail by 2, 3-1. In a period where Minnesota also lost their starting goaltender.
You know, hopefully this doesn't become a theme where you're saying they deserve better but didn't get it. The Wild need to have a bounce-back period in the second. Try and get back into this one.
3-1 Nashville on home opening night in Music City. We'll visit with the Star Trib's Michael Russo next. Predators leading the Wild 3-1 after 1 with Kevin Gorg and Mike Greenlay. I'm Anthony LaPanta. Second period about set to start. And the Wild hoping for better results. A first period where 5-on-5 they controlled the flow of the game, but a 5-on-3 goal, a 5-on-4 goal, and a penalty shot goal have the Predators on top by 2.
Mike Yeo has spoken about it before. He does not want offense at the expense of the defensive game or discipline. And I think that kind of is what happened near the mid part of that first period.
Suter plays it in for Minnesota. Niederreiter, Cook, and Brodziak up front with the top defensive pairing behind them. Cook throws a check at center, trying to dig the puck free. But Klein plays it into the Minnesota zone. Long shot goes wide of the goal. Comes all the way back out to neutral ice where Ballard has it for Minnesota. This pass off the mark and will be icing against the Wild.
Well, back to leaning on the top line, and you can talk about secondary scoring, but when you're in a position like this is where you lean on the guys that can get you there. That line has played very well in this game. Koivu, Parise have connected for a couple of good looks. Pominville's had a couple of good shots as well. So this line, if they can get things rolling in the offensive zone, the Wild have done a very good job of possessing the puck and getting shots on goal. They need to, as best as possible, kind of wipe away that first period. Right there, a second time that Ballard kind of miscued with the puck at the point. Last time it cost him a penalty shot.
Koivu plays it in behind. Pominville in the corner. Ballard holds his own. Pominville tied up by Jones. Still got a shot away. Parise on the rebound. Saved by Rinne.
Well, after that tap-in goal by Parise in the first, Rinne has his number. A good work there by Pominville. Watch the second effort here. He's checked, stays with it, gets a shot off, and right there is where you think that maybe Parise would have slid one home, but Pekka Rinne had something else planned for that hockey puck. Made a couple of very good saves off of Zach Parise's shots.
3 shots for Parise so far tonight. He was leading the Wild in that department coming into play tonight. He had 14 shots in Minnesota's first 2 games, 8 more than anybody else on the Wild roster. Scandella knocked down by Nystrom, who walks out front. His shot deflects over the top of the goal. Legwand to the point, and it escapes the zone. Bartley wasn't able to hold for Nashville. Haven't seen much of Victor Bartley. They've been going with 5 defensemen for most of the night. Bartley here fires well wide. Out to neutral ice. Zucker there for Minnesota. Got it to Danny Heatley at the Nashville line, but now Bartley has it in his own zone. Legwand plays it back to Bartley. Watched by Konopka. Say this puck was tipped at neutral, so icing waved off. Konopka to Torrey Mitchell at center. Back to Konopka. His return pass intercepted. And Craig Smith flips it in for Nashville. And now we get a whistle as it'll be icing against the Predators. Pekka Rinne has been very good against Minnesota, even better when he plays them here at home.
Well, Pekka Rinne is he's a gamer. He's the kind of goaltender that can definitely steal one from you. He's done that all too many times, and he's stealing a few.
Quick shot by Parise, and again Rinne is there to stop him. Wild able to get the matchup they wanted because of the icing against the Predators. It resulted in a good chance for Parise. Watched by Bourque. He plays it back for Suter. And Nashville will get a change. Suter again in his own end. Tipped in by Koivu. Parise battling along the end boards. Pominville in to join the fight. Predators able to clear. Rodin back to Suter. Pominville dumps it in. Seth Jones sets up behind his net. Shared here with Ekholm. Ekholm got it to center, broken up neatly by Ballard. Niederreiter turned it over, put it right on the stick of Jones. Ballard breaks up the rush for Minnesota. Clayton Stoner up the left wing, tipped in by Cook. To the line, but Brodziak able to hold for Minnesota. Then he's knocked down, and the Predators are back with Hornquist. Fisher throws Ballard into the boards. Stoner bounces one out through neutral ice. Ballard to Zucker at center. Into the Nashville zone, Danny Heatley. Sidestep one man, then had it poke checked away by Legwand. Stoner throws a hit at center. Heatley back in his own zone for Spurgeon. Granlund got it to Zucker to the line. Legwand holds. Nystrom tried to center for Legwand. Stoner breaks that up. Nystrom has it back. Scored on a penalty shot earlier in the game for the Predators. Long shot got through to Harding. Not sure he saw it, but he was able to get a stick on it. Granlund to Danny Heatley at center. Into the Nashville zone. Heatley centers for Granlund. Penalty coming against the Predators. And Minnesota will get a power play as Granlund was hooked, breaking toward the slot.
Nice little pass there by Heatley, just feeding it on his tape. And you'll see the hook that negated the chance for Granlund to shoot it. First NHL goal for Forsberg in this game. He also gets a penalty, and nice little play there. Heatley right onto the tape and the hook on the inside of the arm. Wild with a very big opportunity here. The power play has been very good for both teams in this game.
Minnesota at 40% for the year, 4 out of 10, including the marker earlier by Parise. Suter hustles to the near point to hold the zone. Koivu tried to get it to Parise in the corner. Parise to the point for Suter. Suter fakes the shot. Pominville fires wide, and the rebound all the way out to center.
For a fairly small guy, Pominville can really unleash that shot. Maybe giving Rinne a little too much respect there as he missed the net.
Weber can't get it out. Parise hustles over. Heatley trying to feed the point, but that was broken up. Jones takes a hit from Heatley. Koivu in trying to dig it free. Heatley jamming at it. It's loose high in the slot. Pominville, top of the circle. Back to Suter. Koivu with it. Koivu assisted on the power play goal earlier, and here's a tip by Parise right into the midsection of Rinne.
That was a very nice redirect by Zach Parise again in front of the net. That's about 4 chances that had opportunities to go in. Watch the deflection as Parise comes right across in front of Rinne. So it's a quick little screen, and then when he picks up the puck, it's being deflected off his stick. So a nice play there. Again, it's a combination of Koivu, Parise, and I think on every one of these last chances that Parise's had, it's been Koivu that's been feeding him the puck.
And now the youngsters for Minnesota. Zucker, Niederreiter, Granlund up front. Brodin and Spurgeon on the back end. Predators able to clear. Still 42 seconds in the Minnesota power play. Jared Spurgeon, the veteran of this second power play unit, fires it in. Granlund overskated it. Zucker quickly there. His speed allows him to hold the zone for a moment, but that's all. The Predators clear. Jared Spurgeon, at 24 years old, the senior member of this second power play unit for the Wild. Niederreiter carries down low, drops to Spurgeon, scores!
What a well-placed shot by Spurgeon. He picked his head up, and I think he saw Rinne charging out at him. And a goaltender that is moving out at you does not have very good foot speed in that circumstance. Watch the goaltender come racing out right about here, and he just can't find the puck as he's being screened, and he's also moving. He did not set himself, and you see that his feet are moving. Perfect time to shoot one nice and low to the blocker side. And that's exactly what Spurgeon did, closing the gap here. Big goal by the Wild. Nice set up there by Niederreiter as well.
Yet another power play goal. We've had 4 of them in this game, 2 for each side. The difference, Nashville also has a goal on a penalty shot. A turnover, and Mitchell has it deflect off the pad of Rinne. Cook hustling after it, but the puck comes out to center ice. Legwand into the Minnesota zone. Works his way by Mitchell. And a great recovery by Mitchell to break up the pass intended for Nystrom. 3-on-2 the other way. Brodziak fires, save Rinne, and the rebound knocked out of the air.
And a smart move to shoot that puck. Didn't have very many other options. Found it through a screen.
Torrey Mitchell carries in for Minnesota. He's dumped just inside the Predator line, and the puck deflects out of play off the stick of Konopka. Power play goal by Jared Spurgeon has Minnesota back within 1. And there's Torrey Mitchell. Solid shift for the Minnesota fourth liner.
Here's Torrey Mitchell right here. Keep an eye on him. He makes a very good defensive play as it gets thrown to the other side of the net. Actually bowls over 2 guys, and Clayton Stoner jumps into the play. Torrey Mitchell played on this line with Cook and Brodziak in training camp. Actually would like to see more time on that line because it would give him more ice time. And right now getting a good look there. I think it's time of the game where Mike Yeo will probably start to throw more eggs into one basket here and put out the best line that he can at any given time. So it's good to see Mitchell moving up there and getting it done.
Very physical face-off win for Konopka against Gaustad. Gaustad huge, 225 pounds, and as we mentioned earlier, tied for the league lead in face-off win percentage. But Konopka's win allows Minnesota to start this shift to the offensive zone. Niederreiter tried to get it to Fontaine behind the net. Ellis got it ahead, relayed in, but it'll be icing against Nashville, and a long shift will continue and allow Mike Yeo a chance to throw his top unit on the ice. Now would be a great time to become a Minnesota Wild season ticket holder. Choose from full season tickets, half tickets, or 10-game plans. Enjoy great benefits including discounted tickets and more. Call 222-WILD or visit wild.com for details. Koivu and Gaustad both lined up on their hands and knees in the faceoff circle. Gaustad emerges with the puck, and that allows Nashville to get a change. Pominville across to Koivu. Koivu with a long shot that deflects wide. Rene has to cover with Pominville right there, who's then hit by Fischer. And I believe we're going to get a penalty against Nashville.
And that's one cut against Fischer, is that he's a very physical guy and he likes to use that part of the game, but sometimes takes overly aggressive penalties. And we'll see if this one, as you said, results in one. And if it does, Wild with a chance to continue that power play role. Watch this. Pominville really doesn't do anything, but then he gets laid out by, I think, both by Weber and Fischer.
And they're going to call Weber.
Okay, so Weber's the one who really, I guess, took him down more so than Fischer did. But not a very smart penalty, especially with the fact that we've seen nothing but special team goals in this hockey game. And you lose a penalty killer in Weber as well.
Koivu, Heatley, Parise up front for Minnesota. Pominville and Suter man the points. Wild 2 for 2 on the power play. Looking for the tying goal. Pominville centers. Heatley fires, and it's just wide. Didn't get much on it, but seemed to fool Rene. Predators able to clear. Ryan Suter sets up for the Wild. Dumps it in. He hustles after it. Rene gets there first. Pominville at the point. Parise to Suter. Pominville. Parise fires, and that was blocked. Parise has it back. Suter at the point. Parise. Down low, Heatley. Centers for Koivu. Comes free to Pominville. Suter with a shot, and that was blocked. And the rebound's out to neutral. Suter wants to reset it quickly.
A lot of sacrifice up the middle there because Suter had a lot of time, a lot of space.
Predators clear, and Minnesota will change. Suter back in his own zone to Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon carries in. Works down low. Shot saved by Rene. And the rebound scooped up by Nystrom, who races back the other way shorthanded. Tied up by Granlund. Niederreiter poke checks it free, and Jones with a bomb that goes just wide. Hartley with a shot that deflects out front. Wild looking to gain control now, and Fontaine carries up. 15 in the power play. Bobbles it at center. Hartley there. Fontaine got it loose. High in the air, gloved and dropped by Jones. Withstands a hit by Granlund. Got it to the line. Spurgeon holds. Loose puck picked up by Fontaine. Power play over. Brodin across, and Weber intercepted as he was coming out of the box. Predators are at full strength. Minnesota's 2 for 3 on the power play. And Nashville still leads by 1. Mitchell from the circle has his shot deflect. Out of play. Wild come up empty on the power play and trail by 1. I think this has a chance to develop into a rivalry. Barry Trotz, the Nashville head coach, talked about that earlier today. Said start to see some games between these teams where playoff berths or even playoff series are determined. Minnesota will play their next 3 games within the division. Dallas and Winnipeg on the next homestand in St. Paul. Nystrom dumps it into the Minnesota zone. Keith Ballard back after it. Stoner got it to the line. Ekholm holds his own. Brodziak Carries it to center for Minnesota and dumps it in. The Wild will change. Inside 8 minutes left, second period. Minnesota has dominated this period, out shooting the Predators 8-2. And they have the only goal to cut the Nashville lead to 1. Our window concepts game reset. Backstrom had to leave the game with an injury in the first period.
Yeah, got run into by Nystrom on that breakaway that actually ended up being a penalty shot when Harding had to step in. Of course, the Predators strung together some goals in a short period of time, and all of them were special teams kind of goals, a 5-on-3, a 5-on-4, and that penalty shot that I just mentioned. So it's been an interesting hockey game, to say the least. The Wild with a couple of markers of their own.
Face-off back in the Minnesota zone. Jared Spurgeon scored the last power play goal for Minnesota.
Still have not seen an even strength goal by either one of these teams.
Koivu. Got it to Parise, who plays to Pominville at center. Pominville drops it back. Brodin with a shot, and that deflects wide. Parise with it to Suter. Long shot by Suter, kicked out by Rene. Hornquist trying to clear. He's tied up by Pominville, then Koivu. Koivu hustles to hold the zone for a moment, then finally Wilson does get it out to center. Brodin across to Suter. Hasn't been an overly physical game here tonight. Wild have been much more impressive in transition than have the Predators. Wilson up the left wing. Forced to the outside by Suter. Bartley bobbled the pass, and then it deflects off of Zucker and out of play. The new season of The Ultimate Fighter is powerful, relentless, epic. It's just getting started. That's the show the critics say delivers the goods, and see why they call Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate the best rivalry in sports. Get hooked on the show. Everyone is talking about The Ultimate Fighter, all new tomorrow at 9 Central, only on Fox Sports 1. Predators win the draw, but the shot is blocked. Fontaine into the Nashville zone for Minnesota. Puts on the brakes. Sends it across. Spurgeon waits, then has his shot blocked. Mitchell tried to feed the point, but it's intercepted, and it's a 3-on-2 for Nashville. Smith with a shot right on, and a save by Harding, who hasn't been very busy since entering the game. That's just the 6th shot he's faced.
Yeah, and they haven't been in tough situations either, except of course the penalty shot that he had to face right off the hop that Nystrom scored on. But this is going to be the kind of test for Harding of a more mental nature, at least up until this point. And if the Predators get some more shots, then he'll get into that in a different way. But right now, just needs to keep his concentration. Shots are not coming in at a flurry, that's for sure.
Ballard to Stoner. Watched there by Legwand. Cook to Brodziak. Brodziak takes a hit from Klein. Ballard sidesteps one man, and then the puck deflects out of play. Minnesota down by 1 in the Music City.
Now Zach Parise has a goal in this game, and it was a beautiful setup. Suter over to Koivu, and then just a tap in. That's a power play goal that got the Wild up 1-0 in this game. But since then, it's been all Pecorino. There's another feed by Koivu. This one did not go for him. This is shot by Pominville that Parise was able to jam at the goal, and again, not able to happen. There's a deflection off a feed by Koivu. So a lot of continued effort by Zach Parise in this game, but after that first goal, not able to get any more to go.
Mentioned earlier that he was leading the Wild in shots on goal coming in. He had 8 more than any other Minnesota player, and you can see that only Alex Ovechkin has a higher percentage of his team's shots on goal.
He was even laughing this morning. We were talking about the percentages that in the 10-11% range. He said, hey, you know what? You get 300 shots on goal in a season, you'll have a 30-goal season. Well, he's had a few 30-goal seasons, so it must be working.
3 already this year for Parise, 1 tonight. Gaustad beats Granlund on the draw, and the Predators clear, but it'll be icing and a faceoff back in the Nashville zone.
Clayton Stoner back in the lineup here after being out last game in lieu of Matt Dumba, who played in his very first NHL game. Clayton Stoner, like a lot of different players on this team, brings different roles. That's one thing Parise talked about in the preseason, is the fact that there's more defined roles for a lot of players this year. Of course, Stoner brings a stay-at-home, physical type defenseman.
Predators control. Clune carries to center and flips it in. Harding gets run over, and there's going to be a penalty. They've blown the play dead, and there's going to be a penalty against the Predators, and looks like there might be more. Stoner jumps to Harding's defense.
And don't even want to consider what happens if Harding goes down, because then the Wild have to dress one of their defensemen. He gets swept as he goes to get the puck. Stoner jumped in there very quickly. Watch the play at the side of the net. Harding out there, but kind of gets steamrolled. Clune, of course, in a fight earlier with Konopka. And right there, not really doing anything to really avoid Josh Harding. Harding was kind of putting up a bit of a wall to try and block the forecheck.
So there was a penalty coming at that point. The official's arm had gone up. You would figure the rest of it would probably even out, but we'll wait and see.
Well, there goes the lack of physical play in this game. Good to see Harding on his feet and in the net. Nicholas Backstrom's not even in the tunnel, so he's likely in the training room getting treatments of some sort. And they'll have to sort out these penalties.
And based on the fact that Fisher's still arguing, it appears that the penalties will go in Minnesota's favor. Mike Yeo wants an explanation. Perhaps not enough in Minnesota's favor.
Very animated Mike Yeo.
So they called a roughing on each player and an additional 2 minutes for the goaltender interference. I think what Mike Yeo might be asking is why Clune doesn't also get a fighting. He dropped his gloves and threw punches at Clayton Stoner. Watch it again, and you'll see the goalie interferes, but then watch after Stoner jumps to his defense. Clune immediately drops the gloves and throws a couple wild right hands at Stoner.
Now, he saw Stoner come in, who got his gloves up in his face. I think Stoner dropped his gloves too, so I think at that point it would likely offset anyway. But I'm sure Mike Yeo still wanted a little heavier fine for running into the goaltender.
So Minnesota's on the power play. Wild 2 out of 3 with the extra man so far tonight. 5 power play goals already this season for the Wild. Suter with it for Danny Heatley at center ice. Suter's pass deflected. Heatley's there to scoop it up. 90 seconds in the man advantage. Pominville carries in. Pominville fires, saved by Arine.
Right off the shoulder cap. He was going upstairs with that one.
Wild can't clear, but Parisi intercepts at center.
Keep in mind, Pekka Rinne is 6'5", so when he butterflies, his shoulders still almost get to the crossbar.
Nashville clears. Minnesota will change. Harding will play it himself, throws to nobody, and it's intercepted at center by Ekholm. Spurgeon has one of the 2 power play goals for Minnesota. Feeds Zucker at center. Zucker battling for the puck, got it to Brodin. Tried to go back to Zucker. Ekholm got it caught in his skates. Heatley's still on the ice for Minnesota. Hasn't been able to get off on a change yet. Half a minute left in the man advantage, and not much happening for Minnesota. Brodin lost the puck in the corner. Luckily recovers in time to break up the centering pass. Wild just onside. Zucker to the corner. Brodin seems to be fighting the puck a bit on this shift. Zucker down low to Granlund. It was intercepted. Zucker got it back. Granlund in the corner. Less than 10 in the power play. Niederreiter looking. Spurgeon fires, and it's wide. Brodin holds at the far point. Predators back at full strength. Niederreiter to Granlund, back of the net. And Nashville is able to clear the zone. Niederreiter at center. Plays it back in. Full strength. Less than 3 minutes left in the second period. It's been a good period for Minnesota. Nashville has only 3 shots in the first 17 minutes of the second period. Legwand tried to center. Brodziak intercepts. Wild have been dominant in the second period all year. Coming into tonight, they had outshot their first 2 opponents 30-11 in the second period. More of the same here tonight as they have a 10-3 edge. Ballard back to pick it up for the Wild. Torrey Mitchell at center ice. Rinne gloves and has to hold with Kyle Brodziak. Nearby are Bud Light, What's on Tap, the next 2 within the division at home. Winnipeg Thursday, Dallas Saturday.
Now, we've already seen that Winnipeg can be a team that you might want to call a rival already. And Dallas, of course, the Wild have had their problems with. But then they do something that they didn't do at all last year, and that is head out to the Eastern Conference. So Wild fans will get a taste of every Eastern Conference team once on the road and once at home.
4-game road trip. All to Eastern Conference teams. Koivu to Parisi. Suter fires, saved by Rinne. Puck is loose with Koivu down, and Wilson's able to clear. Great pressure by the Wild here throughout this second period. And you saw the shots on goal. Very one-sided for the visitors.
Well, and especially with some of the injuries that Nashville has, they're going to be a team like we've seen in the past to try and lock things down and rely a lot on their goaltender, Pekka Rinne. And that is exactly what's going on right now. And the Wild continue to pressure, though. And a good little behind-the-back pass there. It didn't really find Paydirt, but a good shot that created a tough rebound. But Koivu was unable to gather that up. Koivu's been very active in this game with a lot of good feeds. A lot of them to Parisi. That one was right out into the slot.
Ekholm back in his own zone. Scandella knocks it down for Minnesota. Spurgeon. Across to Matt Cook, who flips it into his own bench.
So the Wild continue to have a very good posture in terms of shots, chances, puck possession, zone time, all those metrics that everyone wants. And they've been able to come up with 1 goal in this second period.
Granlund will draw against former teammate Matt Cullen. Granlund wins the faceoff. Minnesota controls. Ballard tipped into the zone by Heatley, and Rinne has to cover There are a number of plays where Zucker has gotten to the puck or gotten near the puck so fast that he's forced the hand of either the Nashville goaltender or defense.
With breakaway speed, you can particularly see it when the puck's dumped in, and the defender has to be aware that a guy with his speed is on the ice because he's right next to you or even almost ahead of you on the forecheck. That's where his separation speed comes into play for the Wild.
Final minute of the second period. Cullen plays it into the Minnesota zone. Stoner back to scoop it up. Watched by Smith, so he reverses to Ballard. Cullen knocks him down and centered. Wilson stopped from point-blank range.
Big save there by Harding. Hasn't seen a lot of pucks, but that one was a point-blanker.
Granlund got it to the line. Ekholm across to Jones. Predators have to tag up at the line, and that gives Minnesota time to corral the puck. Ballard behind his net with 20 seconds left. Stoner to Zucker at neutral ice. Ahead to Danny Heatley, 2-on-2 with Granlund. Heatley drops. Granlund tried to center. Heatley was tied up by Wilson. Heatley with it again. Whips it all the way across to Parise. Parise's going to go for a slash. He knocks the stick and literally breaks it in half out of the hands of Hornquist. And as the clock shows 0-0-0, Minnesota will be a man short to start the third.
It was a cross-ice pass. He couldn't corral it. And there's the slash across Hornquist's stick right in half. It's a common place. If you slash, it's going to break it up. There was 0.2 seconds left. So I think, are they going to put it back up and then just let it run out? Or I'm not sure, because there was a little bit of time left on the clock when he took the penalty and the whistle went. For all intents and purposes, a full power play to start at the beginning of the third period. There's going to be a little bit of time put on here, but I don't think it'll make a whole heck of a lot of difference.
So if you're Mike Yeo, I suppose you'd like to see 2 seconds get thrown up there. It shortens it by a couple seconds in the second period.
I don't know if he's going to gain that much time. We'll see.
They're going to put 0.2 of a second on the clock, it sounds like. Face-off will come in the Minnesota zone.
Time penalty, 19 minutes, 59 seconds.
There will at least be a face-off drop here, and Fisher has one chance, and that would be to shoot it right off the draw. He's tied up by Koivu, and the period comes to an end. A very good period for Minnesota. They dominate, score once, and cut the lead to 1.
Yeah, they protected their own end very well. They controlled the offensive zone. They need to continue to do that. Predators will try and frustrate you defensively. The Wild just need to keep throwing pucks at Rinne and hope they get a benefit of a rebound.
Kevin Gorg will visit with Moorhead native Matt Cullen, and we'll have a look around the league next. It's 3-2 Nashville after 2.
You're watching Fox Sports North.
Nashville 3, Minnesota 2 after 2 in Nashville. And it's not surprising to see these teams locked up in a good one. It seems like it's tight every night that these teams play. If you go back to the start of 2011, Minnesota and Nashville's average margin of victory has been 1.146 of the 7 meetings have been decided by 1 goal.
And I think that often happens when you have 2 teams that play similar styles. And I think in years past, the Wild would definitely admit to that. And we've known that the Predators have been a good defensive team in their existence. I think the Wild are moving away from that, not moving away from being good defensively, but also moving towards being a better offensive team, or at least that's what their goal is, and they've done that by adding more skilled personnel, and they've done that by trying to change the system up a little bit so that they're not just dumping and chasing it, so that they're carrying the puck in the zone. I think evidence is there that this year already in the 3 games, they've dominated play. They've carried the puck. They've had zone time. They've had all those things, but now they have to learn how to work with that. And they have to learn how to put the puck in the net when they have those opportunities. Slowly working their way back into this one after kind of a very interesting first period.
Nashville on the power play. Now the scoreboard has only one. There we go. They had only 1 minute on the Zach Parise penalty time. That would have been a welcome change for the Wild. Now they have it corrected and we're underway. Nashville 2 for 2 on the power play already in this game. Minnesota's penalty killers have killed just 4 of 8 to this point this year. Wilson backed out to the point. Matt Cullen carries down low. A shot was saved by Harding. Cullen's been quiet tonight.
Well, the Wild have had the puck most of the night. I mean, you got a guy like Matt Cullen. He's a player that's used to carrying the puck. And if he doesn't have the puck, then he can't be as effective as he wants to be. Right there trying to go high on Josh Harding. Of course, he's shot against Harding in plenty of opportunities, and he tried to catch the goaltender going down and catch him short side. Harding stuck with it.
Cullen holds the zone. Gives it to Wilson. Back to Cullen. He bobbled it. It deflects to Ellis on the far side. Fisher centers. Nobody home for the Predators. And the puck comes out to center ice. Nashville came into this game 0 for on the power play. They were 0 for 7 in their first 2 games. But they've been perfect tonight. Remember that one of those was the 2-man advantage.
Oh, that's one thing. Both these teams are looking for their first win of the season. The Wild have garnered a couple points through extra frames, but they both know that you can't fall too far behind. Colorado has won again this evening, so they continue to put wins up on the board under new head coach Patrick Waugh.
Brodin rips it around to the near point. Ellis holds. And Cook is able to clear for the Wild. Down to 50 seconds left in the Parise minor. Jones rifles it in. A strange Kieran Hornquist sent it wide. It deflected right out front of the Minnesota goal, and Hornquist was the only one there.
Well, we live in the stanchion age again. The National Hockey League used to have the seamless glass, and it was very nice for rimming the puck, but of course not that good for concussion injuries, and so the NHL's gone back to the plexi and therefore gone back to the stanchions and giving goaltenders fits.
Parise is back. Minnesota's penalty killers do the job. The margin's still 1. Hornquist on the backhand throws it on goal, and Harding smothers the rebound. Face off in the Wild zone. Even strength just over 2 minutes into the third.
Hornquist, big part of what this team's trying to pull together. I like the way he plays. He's very aggressive. Here's that bad hop that we're talking about, right off that stanchion and right back out into the slot. And on every dump in now, players need to be aware, defense as well, not just the goaltenders.
Ekholm walks to the middle and fires one right into the midsection of Josh Harding. Harding on in relief of Nicholas Backstrom, who left with just under 9 minutes left in the first period. Former Wild forward Eric Nystrom crashed into him as he was hooked on a breakaway. Hopefully have an update coming in the post-game edition of Wild Live. Harding with another stop. Nashville with their best sustained pressure of the night here in the first 2.5 minutes of the third period. Spurgeon to center for the Wild. He's dumped as he puts it cross ice. Niederreiter in the circle. Fires through traffic, gloved and held by Arine.
Once again, some line juggling as Niederreiter finds his way onto that line. His good, hard-working, forechecking line with Cook and Brodziak. Niederreiter obviously adds some size to that as well, some skill. And I like the way this line that's out there right now is connected a little bit. Granlund and Zucker have shown some speed out there. Granlund looks so much more comfortable this year than he did last year. He just doesn't look like a babe in the woods as much as he did last year. Maybe physically he looks like a very young guy, but he seems to be finding his way in traffic a little bit better this season. And that's what they want from Granlund. And this is his first game in the middle of the ice. He started the season at wing. Charlie Coyle goes down. He moves into his spot. He doesn't look out of place at that point right now.
Draws against Matt Cullen and wins another faceoff. Zucker at center for Minnesota. Dumps to the Nashville line. Tried to regain the puck. He's taken down. Suter holds the zone, but only for a moment. Ekholm carries out for the Predators and fires it in. Quick one-game trip for the Wild. 2 divisional home games coming up next. Winnipeg and Dallas. Heatley into the circle. His shot blocked by Weber, who's playing without a stick. Now Weber has the stick of a teammate as Heatley drops. Brodin walks in and his shot was blocked. Predators clear. Suter hustles after it.
Well, I think already this year you've seen Brodin in the offensive role more than we've maybe saw all season last year. Brodin has a goal on a power play in a very similar fashion, and right there he stepped right into the slot. It's good to see him using some of his offensive capability.
Line's rush was disrupted by the broken stick left on the ice by Weber. Hornquist fires wide. Wilson throws a heavy hit at Koivu. Had the puck for a moment. Now Stoner recovers. Koivu's pass for Pominville intercepted by Fisher. Got it back, and the Wild start out. Keith Ballard up the right wing. Tried to dump it in. He whiffed on it, and Hornquist clears. It's a 2-on-1 for Nashville. Wilson fires, and it's deflected wide. Nice job by Scandella.
And a great job by Parise, because it gave Scandella the option of what to do when Parise got back in on the play. It took away the options for the offense on that 2-on-1. What a heck of a back check by Zach Parise. My goodness. That makes it so much easier on defenders like Scandella, because it takes all the decision out of it. You know who to go to. You know who to step up on. Look at the hustle you'll see from behind the play. Look at him hustle back. And he takes away the pass. Scandella's able to step up on the shot. And Harding didn't even face the puck in that one.
Konopka and Nystrom really barking at each other. Barry Trotz will replace Nystrom on the ice, and Konopka will draw against Gaustad. Konopka wins the draw for Minnesota. Sturgeon fires, and it was deflected out front. It may have caught Zucker. Predators clear, and it'll be icing against Nashville.
Mentioned that Brodin is starting to maybe test the waters a little bit. Look at him come through the blue line here and get that quick little feed and take a shot. He waited a little bit too long on a good block there by rookie Seth Jones, but nevertheless, it's good to see him thinking in that way.
Gaustad removed from the faceoff circle. Remember, it was icing against the Predators, so they've not been able to change. Matt Hendricks will now draw. He's beaten by Brodziak in the circle. Brodziak fires just wide. Niederreiter withstands a check in the corner. Feeds the point. Suter holds the zone. Rene out to play it. Just got it away from Cook. It's cleared to the line. Brodziak holds for Minnesota. And now Bartley's able to clear. Icing waved off as they rule it could have been played at neutral ice. Ryan Suter starts back for the Wild. Suter to Niederreiter, and they're offside.
Great presence there by Suter, carrying the puck up the ice. He seems to look guys off so well, and so they should be wary of his ability to pass the puck. But the Wild obviously trying to get their defensemen to be very mobile and able to not only pass the puck out of trouble, but skate it out of trouble. And Suter just skated it all the way up the ice, and he almost made the perfect play, although Niederreiter just a little bit over the line, but good to see.
Nice hold by Ballard. Mitchell in the corner. Granlund throws it out front. Nobody home for Minnesota. Dangerous play as Klein nearly deflected it by his goaltender. And this will be icing against Nashville in a face-off back in the Predator zone. This year, Fox Sports Supports is proud to partner with Stop Out Bullying, the leading national anti-bullying organization for kids and teens in the U.S. Stop Out Bullying focuses on preventing bullying and all forms of digital abuse. It educates against racism and hatred, deters violence in schools and online, and helps at-risk students. Find out how you can help. Visit stopoutbullying.org. Pominville for Minnesota. Back to Suter in his own zone. Parisi knocked off the puck, but Pominville picks it up and fires. It's gloved and held by Rinne. 26th save of the night for Pekka Rinne. 3-2 Nashville. Our Toyota getting caught up. Here's what's happened tonight. A couple of power play goals early for Nashville. They were leading 2-1 when Eric Nystrom was taken down into Nicholas Backstrom. Backstrom left the game with an injury. Harding comes on, had to face the penalty shot and was beaten. Jared Spurgeon scores on the power play in the second period for Minnesota. And that's where we stand, 3-2 Nashville.
Wild dominated that second period in many forms, including shots on goal. Penalty coming up here, and it's going to go against the Wild. Unfortunately, Zach Parise got too much of the hook there.
I think they're calling one each way, Mike.
The dive, and sportsmanlike dive, maybe an embellishment.
So easy for a hold.
Oh, yeah, well, I think he did get his hand in on the hip, so that's the penalty for the hold. But Hornqvist looked like he tried to sell it a little too much, and I think that's why he got the gate. So it's a wash.
And it's 4 skaters aside for the next 2 minutes. Wild had Pominville in the faceoff circle against Gaustad. Koivu trying to feed the point. It's intercepted, and Gaustad carries in. His drop pass broken up by Suter. Fisher back to the corner. Gaustad's there. Spins away from Brodin. Jones to the middle. Now has it poke checked away by Pominville, and it forces him to come all the way back into his own zone. Weber at center ice. Jones carries in. Jones forced outside, rolls it on goal, saved by Harding. Puck was loose, Harding's down, and the shot by Jones was blocked by Granlund. Jones out to the point, Ellis. Fisher. Jones fires wide. Lively Karam comes out of the zone. Ellis plays it in, but Nashville will have to exit the zone. And Suter starts out for the Wild. 50 seconds left in the minor penalties. Suter throws it wide of the net. Bartley got it to the line. Granlund holds. He was dumped by Smith. Ellis starts out from behind his own goal. Smith at center. He's tipped into the Minnesota zone. Spurgeon and Cullen go up against the boards. Ellis fake the shot and fires wide. Brodziak has it for the Wild. To Ballard. Ballard gains control of the zone, rings it around looking for Niederreiter. Rinne plays it. Brodziak's the first man there. Back down low for Niederreiter. Watched by Bartley. Spin move. Niederreiter walks in and hit the side of the net. Has it again on the near side. Drops to Parise, who's just out of the box. Parise to Brodin. Off balance, he throws to the corner. Niederreiter picks it up, tried to center. Brodziak with a wraparound try. That was broken up. And Bartley has it. Good pressure for Minnesota, looking for the tying goal. Scandella, bothered by Hornquist. Scandella has it back. Nearly gave it away. Wraps it off the boards and out to neutral ice. Brodziak's in check at center. Maestrom plays it across. Ekholm comes into the Minnesota zone. Harding there to play. Brodin backs to himself off the end wall and plays it out to center. Klein tips it ahead. Forsberg plays to the corner where Nystrom and Suter collide. Fontaine to Konopka. Got it to the line, but Ekholm holds. Konopka tips to the Minnesota blue line. Forsberg to Ekholm, who fires it right back in. Jason Zucker, first game with the Wild this year. Scored 4 goals in 20 games as a rookie last year. Added another in the playoffs. Zucker's long one knocked down by Rinne, and he smothers the rebound.
Well, Seth Jones, as a 3-game-old wily veteran, looks very good busting in the zone there with a big shot and tucks it in. Granlund does a good job of stretching out. I don't know if he got a piece of it, but he certainly helped steer the shot wide.
Pretty impressive skate save by Granlund.
Yeah, I mean, normally you're facing a guy when you stop the puck. At least that's what you're supposed to do. Seth Jones continues to lead this team in ice time. And talk about a guy who's got 3 games experience, including this one.
Ballard fires, and Rinne hangs on.
Shea Weber and he are paired, and they're both right-handed shots. And we've seen 2 left-handed defensemen out there on a more frequent basis, and maybe right-handers are becoming more prevalent to the point where now they have 2 right-handers out there.
Another offensive zone face-off. Koivu against Fisher. Fisher wins the draw for Nashville. Ballard. Pass out of the reach of Koivu, and it'll be icing against Minnesota. Face-off back in the Wild zone.
Well, other than that flurry, which we just showed you, where it was 4-on-4 and Jones was able to get the puck in deep, the Preds have not really pressured as much as the Wild have. The Wild continue to hold the shot and chance advantage.
Big draw between Fisher and Koivu. Nashville's had the upper hand in the face-off circle tonight. Koivu has won 9 of 19. Nashville wins another one here. Hornquist and Ballard battle for it. Fisher with a point. Jones plays it back in. Parise kicks it across, and the Wild gain control. Pominville back to Stoner. Koivu with the Nashville line, lost the puck. Hornquist starts him back. Fisher into the Minnesota zone. His return pass to Hornquist, deflected by Stoner. Koivu to Parise, the pass behind him. Parise tried to kick it ahead. Hornquist carries in. Hornquist tied up by Scandella, knocks him into the boards. Corey Mitchell plays it down low. Minnesota completes a change. Wild trying to find the tying goal with just over 9 minutes left. They trail the Predators 3-2 in Nashville. Time for our Timberland Pro hard hit highlights.
Well, that was a good step up right at the beginning of the game by Scandella, and it hasn't been overly physical, although guys have been finishing their checks in this game. Some have led to penalties. But this game's close enough that guys are trying not to take too many liberties just yet.
Nashville's been playing from behind in each of their first 2 games this year. Tonight they've been working from in front most of the way. Brodziak drops to the point for Brodin. His shot wide of the net. Cook battling for the rebound behind the Nashville goal. Smith to Bourque, then back to Smith at center ice. Knocked away by Brodziak. Mitchell to Cook, who plays it into the Nashville zone. Ekholm back to pick it up for the Predators. Bourque spins just inside the Minnesota line, and Harding forced to cover with Matt Cullen nearby.
Well, we talked about Harding taking more of a role this year, of playing more games, becoming a big factor. I think he can do that. He definitely has the ability to do that. And he may be forced into doing that on a more frequent basis and earlier than we thought. Don't have a report back on Nicholas Backstrom, but Mike Yeo wanted to get Josh Harding into some games here this week anyway. It happened sooner than we thought, but he might be rolling off a few in a row here if Backstrom's unable to bounce back in the next 3 or 4 games.
Yeo said they thought and gave some serious thought to giving Harding his first start here tonight. If not for Backstrom's great success in this building in his career, he was 4-1-1 with a 1.93 goals against in this building coming into play tonight. Fontaine to Konopka, who tips it over the top of the goal.
And for that matter, Josh Harding had some ungodly numbers in the preseason. He played very well.
Zucker at Granlund at center. Granlund knocked down inside the Nashville line, and Fisher plays it back the other way. Ballard there to pick it up for the Wild. Niederreiter for Danny Heatley, bobbled the pass. Stoner backpedals for the Wild. Granlund avoids a check. Feeds Heatley across to Stoner. Couldn't get much on it. Niederreiter, a shot was saved by Rene. Klein. All the way out to center. Wilson picks it up. Suter calmly forces him outside and then gets his stick on the puck. Six and a half to go. Wilson emerges with the puck, feeds Weber. Weber back to Wilson in the circle. Jones backpedals to the middle. Manages to avoid Niederreiter, then just rings it around. Weber winds and fires. It was tipped just wide. Hornquist has it back of the net. Centers for Wilson, and his shot goes wide. Out to the point, Jones. Winds, fires, save Harding. Stoner has it for Minnesota. Out to neutral ice. Jones tried to get it back to Weber. Broken up by Heatley. It's been a long shift for Danny Heatley, who finally heads to the bench.
Clayton Stoner as well. He needs to get off. He's been out there with Ryan Suter. Ryan Suter is more suited to that kind of lengthy shift.
Long shot over the top. Another strange carom off the glass. Suter looking for Brodin, but it was out of his reach. Brodin knocks it out of the air. Parisi into the Nashville zone, all the way across to Koivu. Looking for Pominville high in the slot. He wasn't there yet. And the Predators clear. Icing waved off. Suter will be forced to play it. Koivu knocked off of his stick as he tried to leave the zone. Bourque, long shot, tipped on the way. It got through to Harding. He makes another stop. Parisi comes up with the puck. we get a whistle and a penalty coming against Minnesota. Nashville goes on the power play with less than 5 minutes left. And a very important penalty kill for Minnesota. They got one early in this third period. They need another right now. The Predators with the extra man for 2 minutes. Block shot by Stoner, and that gives Brodziak a chance to clear.
Yeah, that penalty a little interesting. Koivu reached in with a stick, but I don't know how you hook a guy with one hand. The referee felt it was enough while killing a penalty with less than 5.
Rene leaves for Weber. Nashville 2 for 3 on the power play tonight. Hornquist fires. Pad saved by Harding. Rebound cleared. And on the second try, Cook's able to get it the length of the ice. Wild will change again. Brodziak and Konopka up front for the Wild. Cullen. Harassed from behind by Konopka, who's then able to clear. Ekholm plays it around behind his own goal. 40 seconds left in the Nashville power play. Wilson drops it back. Ellis waits, fires. It's behind Harding, but it's recovered by Stoner. Wilson into the circle. Back pedals away from Stoner. Plays down low for Cullen, who bobbled. Spurgeon gets a piece of it. Ellis to Fisher. Konopka clears. Wild trying to get a quick change. Ellis back the other way for Nashville.
Good awareness by the Wild D. Harding had to come way out of the net to cut down the angle. They tried to pass it around them. They almost were successful.
Offside, and Minnesota's back at full strength with less than 3 minutes to go.
Here's that last chance by the Predators. Harding comes out, and he looks like he just went down, and it kind of just filtered by him. Great job by Stoner and Spurgeon to just clear that mess out.
Bostad against Koivu on the draw. Minnesota comes up with the puck. Brodin back in his own zone. Suter. Pominville. Into the Nashville end. Sends it around behind the net. Koivu has it on the near side. Out of the reach of Parise, but Pominville's there. Parise takes a hit from Weber. Bouncing puck out through neutral ice. Suter. And now Bourque picks it up on the far side. Bostad behind the Minnesota goal. Pestered by Koivu. Pominville gains control of the puck. Ryan Suter with it at neutral. Pominville knocked off the stick at center. Granlund is there for Minnesota. Pominville brings it back in. Dumps and heads off on a change. Less than 2 minutes to go. Legwand to the far point. Niederreiter holds for Minnesota. Granlund tried to center. Now Ballard has it. Spurgeon. Back to Ballard. Ballard lost it at center. He turned it over. Forsberg. Now Ballard regains control for the Wild. Niederreiter up the right wing. Into the Nashville zone. Harding starting to wander. Hasn't made the move to the bench yet. Now he does. Harding off with 75 seconds to play. Predators clear. And this will be icing. Face off in the offensive zone for Minnesota with 1:08 left.
Well, like to see a timeout called here. The Wild will try and talk about what they need to do. Not a lot of time left, but they have been doing a good job of getting pucks to the net.
Mike Yeo has called his timeout. Our 10-star star of the game is Zach Parise.
Now Parise with a goal to get things going, but he didn't stop there. He continued to get pucks at the net, but Pecorine has been very good in those circumstances. Zach Parise will always have a nose for the net, always get pucks there, deflections. And maybe he does have one more in him. Maybe the timing would be perfect about now. I think it's a safe bet that you'll see him out there. Josh Harding heads off for the extra attacker. Played a good game. Josh Harding, the only thing he gave up was that penalty shot. His first shot of the game. First shot of the season, unfortunately. Had to come in the form of a penalty shot where Backstrom was injured.
Harding stopped 19 of 20 officially. All 19 that came in the regular flow of the game. Predators clear, and it gets by Suter at the far point. Spurgeon back after it for Minnesota. Brodziak is the extra attacker for Minnesota. In addition to their normal top line, and it's Spurgeon and Suter on the points. Koivu plays it in, and Minnesota's offside. Pominville has to come out of the zone, and we'll get a neutral zone faceoff with 39 seconds left.
Well, what's been uncharacteristic is not being able to get the puck in the zone. The Wild done a great job of that. Right there, though, the Predators putting up that picket fence across the blue line, then just not allowing the Wild to get any kind of passing going to get the puck in the zone with control.
Heatley replaces Brodziak on the ice for Minnesota. Koivu wins the faceoff. Suter fires it in. It's partially blocked just inside the Nashville line. And we'll get a faceoff in the offensive zone for Minnesota with just over a half a minute left. Very important faceoff. Puck control key here with 30 seconds left.
Keep in mind the Wild do have that extra attacker.
Koivu's 110, lost 13 in the circle tonight. He loses this one. The Predators clear. It'll be icing against Nashville, and a faceoff back the other way.
Oh, a little late on that call there. They waited for Suter to almost touch the puck before they blew it down.
Hendricks thought he had done enough to avoid the icing call, but the officials thought otherwise. Another offensive zone faceoff for Minnesota.
Here's where that quick whistle on the hybrid buys you maybe a second or two.
Koivu to draw against Fisher.
I think checking the clock too, because yeah, they've added a few tenths of a second because of the fact that that whistle was blown late for that icing call.
Koivu wins this draw. Spurgeon. Suter fires, and a save by Arine. Clear to the line. Suter's able to hold the zone. Heatley tries to keep it alive. The Predators clear again. And icing called with just about 10 seconds left. They'll probably check the clock again. Might add about a half a second here. Looked like it was just over 10 when the whistle blew.
Yeah, the race, of course, is towards the faceoff dot. That's why when you saw Jared Spurgeon hustling, it was to get to the top of the circle and that faceoff dot ultimately. Big shot there by Suter on a nice little feed. But Pecorine was big again.
Arine, as always, has been very tough to beat here in this building. Delay is checking the clock. And apparently we'll be good to go at 9.7. Kostad in the circle for Nashville. Wild tried to feed the point, couldn't do it. Suter holds, but now it's cleared, and the Predators will earn their first win of the season as they hold off the Wild 3-2 tonight.
Odd turn of events. The Wild scored the first goal, and it was a power play frenzy afterwards, including a penalty shot. Just not enough even strength for the Wild in this one.
Jamie, the Wild dominate sections of this game, but again, still wait for their first victory of the year.